Wonderful. Well, I'm really pleased to be joined by Rachel Ross-Russell, who's the chaplain of St Francis Xavier School in Richmond in North Yorkshire. It's a joint Catholic and Church of England school that we've worked with lots over the years. And so I'm really pleased that Rachel's agreed to speak to us about her experience. Rachel, I wonder if you could just say a little bit about your experience of working with God and the Big Bang and hosting workshop days at your school.
Yeah, sure. So I initially discovered God and the Big Bang through a training day that I went on for staff. It was run by the diocese as a kind of head teachers retreat day, and I think it was Michael actually who spoke at that day and was really inspirational about the work that God and the Big Bang was doing in schools. And I just thought it sounded, really good, and that's something that I would like to bring into our school. And my head was really supportive. She'd also been at the same training day, so she was aware of what it was all about. So she was really supportive. And I think particularly I'm so conscious that often students are kind of encouraged to believe that they have to kind of make a choice between whether or not they want to sort of believe in science or believe in God. And there's this real gap of understanding in the fact that both are possible. Like, you can be a Christian and a scientist, and actually that's a very intelligent position to adopt. And I think that it was just that message that I really felt I wanted to help encourage our students to explore. Also, I think because of the fact that university professors come in to deliver the keynote speech and to run the workshops, it was also a means by which to inspire our young people to think about perhaps going on to university and to get an experience of that kind of higher level of study and higher level of thought. So we pitched it at our year 10s who were at the start of their GCSEs, knowing that it would greatly enhance their ability to understand both science within the context of RE and RE within the context of science, and it would be a mutual benefit to both topics. But also, I think, just to encourage them to think laterally, that faith is not in a box and that it can apply to many areas of their lives, and perhaps particularly to areas of their lives that they've considered to be quite separate to faith. And so I was just really pleased to be able to involve God and the Big Bang in our school. The first year we did it, I think, was 2015, in the autumn of 2015. And then I think we've pretty much allowed our year 10s every year to take part in that retreat day. May have missed one, and we certainly sadly had to miss the COVID year, but pretty much every year that's been part of our year 10s curriculum, effectively, part of their expectations as they go through school.
Yeah, fantastic, thank you. And I suppose just reflecting on those days where the team have been in, are there any particular highlights that you can think of?
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I can't remember everybody's name of all the different people that have been, but those keynote speeches have been standout moments, certainly. The first year you came, my older son was in the audience, so that was quite good for me because I got some real sort of I got a much higher level of feedback, I guess, than I would have maybe got just from the students who were not my children. And I know he's now at Cambridge. He's a bright lad, and he was really impacted by the level of knowledge and the intelligent argument that was put across through the kind of keynote speakers. And I think that's been the case, across all of the years, that students have just suddenly had their eyes opened to a different way of thinking. And I think it's just the sort of content and the way it's delivered is extremely good, and yeah, very convincing. It's hard to argue with somebody who's a professor of physics in a university and a Christian that their belief system doesn't work. So I think I just think, that's been one of the standouts, has been the fact that you're dealing with people who've got a depth of knowledge and a depth of faith that is really convincing. Also, I think, the students have enjoyed doing the workshops, and they've been a lot of fun, but also very informative. And I've always had a lot of good feedback from the experiences of students in the workshops as well. But yeah, I think mostly my standout is just listening to people who've just got really good things to say and delivering it in a way that's really interesting.
Great, thank you. And my last question for you is, what do you think the lasting impact of experiencing a God in the Big Bang Day has been on students as they've kind of gone through the rest of school?
So one of the things I love about the way that God and the Big Bang operate is that you do a survey at the beginning and a survey at the end. So actually quantifying progress and understanding and what's happened during the day is relatively easy as a result. Probably there's nothing else I've done in my role here as school chaplain where I've worked with outside agencies where we've been able to actually quantify the impact in the way that we can, using the survey idea that you use at the beginning and the end. So what we've clearly seen is an incredible shift in understanding of God and science. I mean, I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but you're talking 60% at least of children have left the day having had to challenge what they came thinking. And what's also interesting is within the 40% that haven't changed, many of them are those who've already established an understanding of God and science working, in partnership. And of those who've chosen not to, it's probably because they just decided they didn't want to, not because the presentation hasn't given them that opportunity. And I've had some really interesting conversations with students after they've taken part in the day with God and the Big Bang, where they genuinely are saying, I just never imagined that God and science could work in partnership with each other, and I can see now that actually I've got that wrong. So it's always hard to be sure what the impact is, but certainly from the evidence of the surveys and from the conversations that I've had with students post the event, I would say that the vast majority either already knew there was a coherent link between God and science, or have been challenged to understand that it's not an either or, it can be both. I can't be sure how long that's lasted. I can't be sure where that's taken them in the future, but definitely within the immediate impact is that it's challenged them to think differently. The other aspect that I can't be sure of, but I hope is a spin-off, is that it's probably helped inspire some to apply for university or to think of further education more positively than maybe they had before meeting with university lecturers and professors.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Rachel. It's been great to hear from you, and we really look forward to working with your school again in the future. So thanks so much for your time.